Hello, hello. Welcome to the Claire Alden Publications Facebook page and YouTube Live. We are so excited about today. We are here with another co-author from the Overcomers Anthology for an author chat. And for those of you who are just joining us and you don't really know what the Overcomers Anthology is, the Overcomers Anthology is a volume of stories. An anthology is really an opportunity for multiple authors to come together under one book title, under one book theme, and tell their stories. So, for volume one of the Overcomers Anthology, tearing down facades to expose a life of unspeakable strength, faith, and courage, these overcomers make their debut by sharing riveting details of their life stories. Transparent and empowering, the Overcomers Anthology is the first volume of stories written to encourage you to ascend your current limitations, recognize your power, and realize that you too can be an overcomer. So today I have with me in the studio Aisha Dennis. Aisha's bio says, from the loss of both parents by age 7 to surviving the foster care system, to being a runaway, Aisha Dennis has been overcoming obstacles since she was a small child. She persevered through distractions, and her desire to help others became her driving motivation. Always giving back, Aisha can be found working at the hospital, being the thermostat for whatever floor she works on while meeting the needs of the people. Inspired by Romans chapter 8, verse 28, her favorite motto, no experience is ever wasted, captures the pure essence of the life of this overcomer, Aisha Dennis. So join me in welcoming Aisha to the studio today.
Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you
So
for
thank you
joining
for
us.
coming back. We know that we featured you earlier this month because May
Right.
is Foster Care Awareness Month. So thank you for sharing that part of your story. We're excited to have you on today. And today the focus is on sharing 5 things that you learned about yourself as a co-author in this anthology. So before we get to that, you are a first-time author. You can now
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I am a published author." Tell us about that experience.
It's exhilarating to be exact. You challenge yourself, and when you see it coming to fruition, you're just like, "Oh my gosh, this is really, really happening." So this week is for me is epic because I've never been in this space before. So it's new territory, and I love it.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you're excited about it. I'm so glad that this has been a positive experience for you
Yeah.
because as a publisher, that's what I really want to create. I want to create positive experiences for first time authors, give them some guidance in the writing process, give them some guidance so that they know what to expect, but also give them opportunities, just like with these live interviews, for people to be able to hear their story,
Right.
learn more about them, and to be able to follow them and see what's coming next. So, why don't you go ahead and tell us what are those 5 things for you? What are the 5 things that you learned about yourself as a part of this anthology process?
Well, one of the things that I have learned about myself is that I actually have a voice, that my
Yes.
story is relevant and that it resonates with people who've been in the foster care system, who have lost their parents at no matter what age it is, and who've had to experience struggle and rejection and loneliness because you
Mhm.
feel like you don't belong anywhere because what you initially started out with, you no longer have. So everything is new now, and you have to get used to those things. And as far as having a voice, I remember saying, I'm not ready for this. One of my friends told me, she said, well, why don't you tell your story? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm not ready for this. And then once I saw this opportunity, I'm just like, you know what? It's now or never. So, um, yes, having a voice is important, and it's important to use that voice.
Good, good. So you have a voice. It's important to use that voice. Your story matters. There are some things that you were just talking about as far as, I'm not ready for this, to being excited about actually being a published author. What are some, just what are your thoughts as far as how you went from that place where you're saying, I'm not ready for this, to being excited where you are today?
I've always been that type of person that unless I'm under pressure and I'm pushed, it I need something that's going to challenge me. So
Hmm.
this challenged me to come out of my comfort zone. And at first it was a little bit intimidating. I was anxious. I had a little bit of self doubt, like, do you really want to tell your story? Are people going to really listen? Do they really relate to what you're going to say? And then as I got to having all of these kind of ideas after we did the brainstorming too, it was just like a light bulb went on, and it's just like, okay, you know what? Press in, tap down, and go for it. So it was just like, I guess you could call it an epiphany,
Okay.
maybe.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So, what many of you don't know, and what she's referring to, is for each of the authors, co authors for the anthology, I have brainstorming sessions with them. I don't just leave you to your own devices for you to figure out, okay, how am I supposed to get this book chapter written? I actually provide some coaching, and I walk them through the process. I don't leave you just out there by yourselves. So, the brainstorming session that she just talked about, I work with each of the authors to figure out, okay, what is it that you want to share? And we do what I call a brain dump first. And we just talk about all the different things that you can talk about, and then we kind of pull it together, create a mind map, which becomes your outline, etc., and walk through this process of actually going from blank page to a published author. So again, that's what she was referring to. And for those of you who are interested in asking questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the comments so that we can ask Aisha any questions that you have for her, or if you have some questions for me, drop those in the comments as well. But again, as a part of this process, there are steps that you had to take where you had to come out of your comfort zone. I probably pushed you out that comfort zone a little bit more than you were expecting. So, are there any other nuggets that you would share with someone who is considering being a part of an anthology?
Yes. For that particular thing, I would say um, creativity and freedom are some of the things that I found with you and with your whole process and the brainstorming, and how you guys did not limit us and put us in a box and say, you know what, stick with this and this is what we're going to do. You let us just, like you said, do the brain dump and just get it all out, and then we gathered all the pieces and put it together, and that was just so awesome. So do not doubt yourself. Once you hear about the second coming of the anthology, you have to sign up. You have to sign up. Someone is waiting to hear your story about the thing that you've overcome that you feared the most. So please do yourself and us who are dying to hear your story, do yourself a favor and sign up. Yes, do it. Go for it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, anyone who's interested, I have been talking about it all week long. It does not officially launch until June 1st, but you have an opportunity to be a part of volume 2 of the Overcomers Anthology. Volume 2 is focusing on overcoming fear. So, again, we deal with fear in many capacities in our lives. We want to be able to tell the stories about overcoming fear so that other people will know they're not alone, but also be able to hear your story and understand, okay, if they came through this, whatever it is, then I can do it as well. So that's a part of the beauty in sharing your story. Other people understand they're not alone. They understand that they can do it too. So that opportunity is open. Send me a message if you want to know more about the Overcomers Anthology. Everybody else isn't going to find out about it until June 1st, but because you're watching the live stream, because you're watching the replay, you can get that information. I'm happy to send that to you. Email me at info@clairealden.com, or send me a private message and I'll get you that information if you want to be a part of the Overcomers Anthology. So I got another sidebar question, if you don't mind, because
Okay.
up until we came together, when all the co-authors came together and we read our stories, up until that point, no one else knew what the other authors were talking about in their chapter. So what were your thoughts when we all came together and we started sharing? How was that experience for you?
At first, there was anxiety again because I'm just like, I've only been in my thoughts and my feelings and being naked with myself before God, and then sharing that with you. Now I'm amongst my co-authors and I have to unveil once again. It was a bit of anxiety, but as I sat and I listened and we read, it was just amazing to see that on different levels we all went through different things and it made us all stronger. So
Yes,
that was really, it was really enlightening to listen.
good.
Really.
There is a method to my madness. I'm going to say that multiple times this week, but there's a method to my madness because for a lot of people, there is a little bit of anxiety there. There is a little bit of the unknown, not knowing what to expect, especially as a first time author. So, aside
Absolutely.
from getting through the chapter and all of the technical aspects of that, once the chapters are written, I bring the co authors together so that not only can they meet and find out what everyone else is talking about in their chapter, but it's a chance to hear somebody else reading your story because I don't do things the traditional way. I didn't have them read their own story. I wanted them to hear other people reading their story. And the reason for that is if you're going to release this into the world, you need to be okay with somebody else reading your story. So it's a part of, again, the stretching, coming out of your comfort zone, but also preparing to release what some people refer to as their babies, release their story, release their manuscript into the world. So that's what we're talking about there. So thank you for sharing that.
You're
So we're
welcome.
going to go ahead and I'm going to ask this question because, I'm always interested in the feedback so that I can
Mhm.
continue to make my processes better. So, what has been the best part of participating in the anthology for you?
I would say the best part of participating in the anthology is that um, I overcame my fear of speaking
Okay.
because I was anxious. So a lot of fear that went with being in front of people and talking like how we are talking now, or just allowing people into that space where you're so vulnerable and you have these preconceived notions that, oh, I'm not going to sound right, I'm not going to look right, people are not going to receive me.
Hmm.
And it was the exact opposite.
Okay.
So yes.
Good. So we've got one question. What was the outcome of your struggle? So we talked before about, again, some of the details and what you went through. Share with us again just an overview of what your chapter is about in case someone missed the first live stream, what your chapter is about, and what was the outcome of your struggle? How are you different? How are you better as a part of having gone through this?
Okay, so for those who don't know, by the age of 7, I had lost both of my parents, and I tried to. I was in a setting where I lived with my aunt, and that didn't work out. So I ended up in the system. Then I went to another family member and ended back in the system, and then another family member and up in a group home in a foster care home. So I had been constantly moving around. So there was no stability in my life. There was no affirmation in my life. So in the beginning, I felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. I had rejection issues. Um, so throughout that process, like I said, when no experience is ever wasted, throughout that process, I've learned how to be independent. I've learned not to wait for someone to actually go get what it is that I'm trying to achieve. I have learned to I felt I didn't have love. So I've learned to be love in action. So I interact with people, I listen because I felt no one was listening to me.
Mhm.
Um, as far as helping and encouraging people, all those things that I felt that I didn't receive, the end result was that I was being those things that I felt that I lacked.
Good.
And ironically, from people that I've talked to and I encounter, that makes their life better. So to be the forerunner, to have to go through all those things, I did not like the process. I did not like the experience, but I do believe that God utilizes those things to stretch you and prepare you for you to help someone else. It's cliche, but I heard someone say a while ago that someone is waiting on you.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, these experiences, good and bad, all played a part, and someone is waiting for these stories to be told. So their healing and deliverance and their, burst of strength can come along, and they can transition to the next level.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Someone is waiting for your story to be
yeah,
told. And of course, what you talked about, be the person you needed when you were younger. I love that you've taken your experiences and, because you didn't have anyone to listen to, you listen and you're an active listener for others. And again, all those things that could have broken you or turned out so differently, you've used it to now be a better person. All right. So thank you for asking that question, Latoya. If there are any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We'll get to your questions while we're on the live stream. So you talked a little bit about being nervous, being anxious, speaking now. So, this is not just growth as far as being able to write your story and produce a story and become a published author. That's a great benefit, but that's not the only benefit because, of course, we're doing this virtual book launch. We're letting people know about the authors, we're letting people know about their book chapters, but that speaking part of it, how have you grown just personally as a part of this? Because now you're doing live streams, you're talking about
I
high
know.
blood pressure for Heart Health Awareness Month and things of that nature. So you're really blossoming outside of just being this author. What is that like for you?
Well, self inventory is one of those things for me that I look at. I want to do better. So I've taken this entire experience and I had already entertained like doing my own book, but just being able to talk and speak and all the things I've learned from you guys, I'm able to better able to get my book together and focus on writing. And it has encouraged me, like I've been thinking about a nonprofit to do grant writing. So it's centered around writing as a tool to express yourself.
I love
And
that.
it's been an awesome experience because I'm just, as you can see, I'm glowing. I'm writing, I'm talking, I'm speaking. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would do any of these things. What am I doing? And it's just like, and it's pure and unadulterated, it's just naturally flowing, and it's just like it's I'm speechless sometimes. It's an experience I've never had before, but God has taken us places and
Yes.
He's preparing
Yes.
us for some wonderful things, and it's just I'm just speechless at times. So
All right. We have another question. So, did you find it hard to love yourself through your transformation with going back and forth, particularly as a child going back and forth from one home to another throughout the system? Did you find it hard to love yourself through that
yeah,
transformation?
absolutely, I found it hard. I didn't actually learn to love myself and accept myself until I became an adult, like a full fledged adult who had lost her parents, became a young mother, became a wife, became a divorcee, and here I am now. And I went through a season of nakedness
Mm.
where I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I said. And I didn't see myself the way other people saw me. And most importantly, I didn't see myself the way God saw me. So I had to there was like a breaking. I had to go through this period of loneliness and nakedness and learn to love myself, flaws and all. I didn't like my skin because people felt that I felt that I was better. I didn't like my sides because I felt I was overweight and unlovable. I didn't like my teeth because I felt like I wanted to be what society wanted me to be and have the perfect straight teeth, no buck teeth, no gaps. I didn't like my hair. It was so many things that I didn't like about me. And I had to face that nakedness again as an adult. And God just helped deliver me from desperation and self hate. And it's been a journey, but it all needed to be done. And it's like, I don't need someone to validate my parking, so to speak, anymore or affirm me anymore because God told me that when mother and father forsake you, that he would raise you up. So I didn't have a mother,
Yeah.
I didn't have a father, but I've come along the way and learned like little snippets from different atmospheres that I've been in, and he's shaped me into being this person. And I don't look like what I've been through because when I tell people my story, they're like, "No way, that didn't happen to you," and I'm like, "Yes, way, it did." So you know, it's been a journey, and I've learned to love me. And,
Good.
yep,
Look, if you didn't get anything else out of this, I love that you learn to love you. That is so important
absolutely.
because so many people deal with insecurities and abandonment issues and rejection. So learning to love you, that is awesome. So hats off to you, Aisha.
Thank
So
you.
you participated in the photo shoot option that was a part of the
Yeah.
package for the anthology. So, professional makeup artists, going on location, having some outside photos done. I had fun doing it. So tell everyone what that was like for you. Again, coming out of this shell, not really being sure, can I do this? Can I not do this? To experiencing the photo shoot and everything that went along with it. Tell us about that part of the experience.
Well, first of all, thank you for making it part of the entire package. Um, Thank you to the makeup artist. I felt like Cinderella for a day. I really did. I couldn't cry because you don't want to mess up your makeup.
Yes.
But and I received so many calls and texts and compliments. It was overwhelming, and I'm just like, they're like, I've never seen you like that. I'm like, I've never seen me like that, you know. So it was one of those things to where um, I felt it added to the confidence that I'd already gained over the years. And I looked at myself, and I'm just like, wow, this is what being an author is going to look like. It looks great on me, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, you know, it was the most amazing experience ever. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, is this what all the celebrities feel like when they're in front of a
I
camera?
love it.
And
I love it.
it was a wonderful experience.
Good, good. So the reason that it's important to have that a part of it, the confidence builder, that's fabulous. Feeling good about yourself, that's fabulous. But as an author, you are a professional. So you want to have professional photos to be a part of that experience. I can't tell you the number of people who have submitted selfies as their author photo. And there's no way that I'm putting my company name on a book that has a selfie as an author photo. So that's a part of why it had to be available. If you choose that option, wonderful. It's going to be a fantastic experience. And, sometimes you have some photos that you can use. Excellent. But if someone does need author photos, we do make that available as a part of the package for the Overcomers Anthology. So thank you for sharing that. What's next for you? What are you working on now that you are a debut author? You have your first publication under your belt. What's next for you, Aisha?
I'm working on my own personal book, telling my entire story. With the anthology, you get a snippet of how things started. With the actual book, you'll see how things have actually unfolded in my life from beginning to end. So I'm working on that. I'll be starting class this summer virtually for grant writing because I'm looking into starting a nonprofit organization. So that's important with the nonprofit being able to write grants and access funds for the projects that you want to do in the community. So I'm working on those things. And it's funny because everything revolves around writing. So yes, it's that's what I'm going to be doing. And
All
I'm
right.
excited.
Excellent. Would you agree that being a part of this anthology has been a life changer for you?
Absolutely. So it's man, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. It has it has changed me in a way to it makes me feel like there was a prophecy that was given to me a while ago by Kelly Cruz, and she said that God said, "I have included you."
Hmm.
She said that you never felt that you were basically worthy or that you were included, but God said, "I've included you." And so, in this experience, I feel like God has reaffirmed me and reassured me yet again
Wow.
that this is where you need to be. This is the platform that I want to have you on. And as long as you keep me first, everything will be added unto you. There's nothing that you can't do. I'll supply the relationships, the tools and resources and people that you need to access if you just say yes and walk in it. So
Wow.
I'm learning to walk in it.
That is
That's where I
awesome.
am.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Powerful testimony, powerful experience. If you have any questions, go ahead, drop them in the comments so we could ask Aisha while she's here with us live. Thank you so much for sharing that aspect of your story because again, just, if when people read your story, when they read your chapter, they're going to want to know, okay, but what happened next? What's going on now? And now there's another project in the works. She's going to be telling her full story. You just get a snippet of it in the anthology, but she's
Right.
going to be telling her story soon. So make sure that you follow Aisha, learn more about her story, learn more about her projects and what's next. So how can people get in touch with you?
Okay. So I'm on Facebook as Aisha Dennis. I'm also on Instagram as Aisha_Aisha, or you can reach me email Aisha_Dennis at yahoo.com.
All right. So make sure that you follow Aisha on Facebook, on Instagram, learn more about her, learn more about her book projects and what is to come. Any final thoughts for you today?
Um, I would say that in all that you do, you should pursue it with all your heart if that's something that you want to do, like with writing or guest speaking or being a motivational speaker, to pursue those things, to keep God first, and be good to people. Be the things that you feel that you lack in your life. God will bless you for being those things, because we're supposed to be a blessing to others and we're supposed to walk in love. So, um, and enjoy life.
Yes.
Yep, and enjoy life.
Thank you
And
so much for sharing your story. This is a part of the reason why I do what I do. I love seeing lives being transformed. I love seeing people having great outcomes and living their best life. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your process.
you're
For
welcome.
anyone who wants
Anytime.
to be a part of the Overcomers Anthology Volume 2, get in touch with me, send me a private message, or you can email me at info@clairealden.com. I'll get you all the details. I want to help to transform lives just like Aisha has experienced and has shared so gratefully with us today. So thank you for sharing your story. Make sure you reach out to her to get your copy of the Overcomers Anthology. It's not available online in paperback yet. That's intentional. I want you to get it from your favorite co-author. So let people know how they can get that from you once again so they can pick up their copy. It retails at $15. So make sure you share with everyone how they can get in touch with you, Aisha, to pick up their copy of the anthology.
Okay, absolutely. I can be reached via Cash App at dollar sign Aisha 1427. I also have, and I'll be able to put a link in the comments for PayPal. And if you guys are using Zelle through your bank, I also use Zelle as well. If you inbox me directly, I'll give you my information. And thank you to everyone who's been so supportive.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you have her information. Make sure you reach out to Aisha to get your copy of the paperback. Get your autographed copy. Be one of the first ones to get your
Yeah,
autographed copy of the Overcomers Anthology so you can read all about her story, support her in her journey, and we can't wait to see what's next from you. Thank you again for being our guest today.
you're
Everyone,
welcome.
have
Thank you.
a wonderful evening. We'll talk with you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.